No matter how many noises are made, the law is the law.
The Chief Justice was an impediment. She was a means to an end. The end is the EC chair and her deputies. And I'm going to make another bold, prophetic, angelic prediction today.
Ejebo, eja nyaba bedru. Ezo no eba beto amframa kese taadi kan an. Enso we no ehyaase yiri ye ma na ehu se eye den na ebeto. Mana delay na delay keke. Chief Justice Ewuraba Isaba Gertrude Torkornoo. Finally, John Dramani Mahama. Amanfo osmo omo se omo nkotena so na omo we the 3 petition. Ghana for this year cast omo hwe maame na se oye nima bi a ensem fa 20 year no na ese you pushing forward e dey come John Dramani Mahama said ye Ghana constitution etutie no per article 1466 na so omugina so hwe se ampa petition no nyansa uma na se nyansa nim yetena asen ye dey come mpenifo ma mo hwe mu se asem na ase ebi ese yetena asen ye ka asem no. First petition, kakra pa blow bang. Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo want man survive. When you know your born azuma blows or the former way one and nine say wa. Adayan ne kwakwen dan say after several court na ma me ko high court ni ebotugu na ko supreme court ni ebotugu na England Wales and a Commonwealth for air related tin ba ni ebotugu no ene awie ya ana President John Dramani Mahama panel members committee omotena case ne so omode bibia kwato ye President John Dramani Mahama ni say papa yetena ase hwe ensem yi na no ensem a yenya ye kunchiri ye de tu nkrata so ennie anom ye beautiful handing over na ya dwi so ebeteki ye day or 2 or 3 ansan ye hu say dey na wo petition na ngasa mu dey na ye finding na munya ye ntia omodi abre John Dramani Mahama the president adiante so ene ye otilo good bye ya what you just so John Dramani Mahama e the letter tin kan courtesy fellas kwacho fosu on the spokesperson to the president and the minister for government and communication letter now the president Mahama removes Chief Justice Gertrude Isaba Torkornoo from office. And when dated 1st September 2025. That's a near and council locono a hand and moko unya udia correct pa. Now, content of letter in the Senate here. President John Dramani Mahama has, in accordance with Article 1469 of the 1992 Constitution, removed the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship, Justice Gertrude Isaba Torkornoo from office with immediate effect. Not just say no on your suspended Chief Justice or you fired Chief Justice. Now this follows receipt of the report of the committee constituted under Article 1466 to inquire into a petition submitted by a Ghanaian citizen, Mr. Daniel Ofori. After considering the petition and the evidence, the committee found that the grounds of stated misbehavior under Article 1461 had been established and recommended her removal from office under Article 1469. The president is required to act in accordance with the committee's recommendation. Not just said, the letter they can't continue say Chief Justice Ani suspended no Gertrude Isaba Torkornoo yajana kwan ya wono gunsa na the Daniel Ofori in the petition or the buyer said, my man, Subambia no then a D as a Chief Justice and you know. And no one a President John Dramani when Medina so one kunsa. Now we know say the same Article 1469, 1469 and 1461 and one of Medina so. And they immediately effective immediately. And the nay any money mamano. Oh, Chief Justice and money ding on Kahun Bill. Now wait, Anna Dr. Zato our MPP ni mapa. Papa no or say John Dramani Mahama what disappointing papa. Now when you be who say kayomoto as a mashada pa say ye dey ambo ma mi nkonsa na ma onu nkonsa owie no lawyer Trey Abu also said the same problem now because NDC ever be paper hey no must start mami eraba say about Torkornoo get truth mami no Chief Justice in the omoye ye ba ebe yi no o say ampaniampa omaka omaye.
The Chief Justice was an impediment. She was a means to an end. The end is the EC chair and her deputies. And I'm going to make another bold, prophetic, angelic prediction today. They are next. Very soon you will see the petitions for the removal of the EC chair and her deputies will roll in. And I'm telling you, by the end of the year, the CJ has gone, the EC has gone, the whole slate is going to be swept clean, and then you are going to have NDC people planted there to continue the NDC process of going forward. So yes, I'm very, very certain about this, and it's going to happen. Just watch this space. I have no problem with the constitutionality or otherwise of it, but you also then realize that every aspect of it, every single phase of it was what? Laden with politics. Now, this is what history will remember. History will not remember constitutionality. No. History will remember that under this constitution, in this Fourth Republic, it was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama who was the first to fire a sitting Chief Justice, a member of the co-equal arms of government. History will remember that. History will not forget. Tomorrow, I'm sure that if people start teaching law, constitutional law and other laws, they will always bring this up. And whenever they bring this example, they will say, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama removed the Chief Justice Torkornoo. And so far, it is probably the biggest achievement of this government is the removal of the Chief Justice. And that is what history is going to remember. And that is what politics is going to remember. And that is what going forward everybody is going to remember. So you can call it whatever you want, or you can lead in it whatever you want. You can hide under every single judicial or legal interpretation, whatever. But the history will remember the Chief Justice was removed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and it's the first time it ever happened.
Former director Edema Ghana Law School, Kwaku Ansa Asare, as we say, the air cost is justifiable. Etienne lawyer, lawyer Treyabua, no former deputy attorney general under the MPP Edema, now a deputy Edema Godfrey Dame, Can say Godfrey Dame is no a lawyer, Edema Madam Chief Justice, and they are fire no. Gertrude Araba is Saba Torkornoo. One link up on a correct link up, Paji. Or say only the on your surprise because Mahama Kai. Now I am
there. If you sit in that office, the possibility of flimsy petitions being used to remove you is very high. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not surprised because this one is in fulfillment of a campaign promise. This is a clear case where a political actor before elections campaigned on the promise to remove a Chief Justice. Upon assuming office, had some people filing petitions for the removal, and today the result. That's what I'm saying. I'm sad. I'm not surprised.
Now, Oriana Martin Pebu said on Tiasio, one hour say, Kwaya John Dramani Mahama first way, Mammy, your Montiasio. Or say petition no back miensa, and yen this in the buy a Ghana citizens per the constitution, yes, Reno, Sapa Pepe, Nequaye. Who you know who we are? The reason now a petition is state no, and also a Mudia Hena Enya lawful. A bizuni ho. Again, the trainer who amount for Quackran on who you and say, Adaya, Chief Justice, Quaya Faso, Eddie petition ye and Sana, Yadekoma, we mu and Son and Sakabino say, I'm too was. Now, President who to me say about with my boy to and also be consider say we a prima facie case. Per the other by and the home. A futu sema onya and so de ma na yetunofu. Ansa na wasani bia ma events the Chief Justice in case say asem no ampa ye ne be kan. Enti mo dede na mo ye no ono ntiase wadwene ho saa. Ontiase ya fire na.
When the president receives the petition, it's possible you find a petition which is unsigned, or a petition which is nameless, or a petition which has so many invectives, vitriol, etc., that it just makes it excuse me, what we say in Ghanaian English, throw it into the dustbin. Of course, there's a more derogatory one. I'll not use it, but we all know it.
Let's stay on that.
You say, So for me, what I see is that if a petition is of such a nature, I don't think there is a breach when the president shows it to the Council of State. I say, look, this petition that is unsigned or in nameless, I intend to dismiss it in limine, so that it means that, look, let's not go through any razzmatazz, rigmarole.
Let's not waste our time, essentially.
Yes, there is no name petitioner, or there is no signature, or the vitriol and everything is too much. There is no actual sense, or it's so baseless. Let's say, you see, when you read Article 146, you see 3 main grounds: stated misbehavior, the grounds for removal, or incompetence, or infirmity of mind and body. So when the person is so sick, cannot perform the functions. So imagine you receive a petition where the complaint is that, this Chief Justice maybe has 12 children. Why should the Chief Justice have 12 children? This is baseless. And you see, in a democracy, don't think that people cannot do this kind of mischief, etc. You can multiply the examples. So my point is that where the president forwarded it, that per se didn't show a breach, because we don't know the reason for which it was forwarded. If he had purported to say that he's going ahead, detailed prima facie determination without hearing from the Chief Justice, then that's where there would be a problem.
I see.
But once we don't know why it was forwarded, you can't just say that because it was forwarded, prima or ipso facto, there is a breach. No, you don't know. And besides, the Constitution didn't lay out the steps that Chief Justice must see it before Council of State sees it. No, he just have forwarded. So they can do, maybe, as I said, he wants to throw it out immediately because of some defect. That one he's entitled to. It's not everything that should be there.
Ghana be the fridge na ekodi ahwe akoti akura election na nya fancy say. Now, Director Kwaku Ansan Asare, former director of the Ghana Law School, the also can say Chief Justice no you know. Say all the Ghana Mra Constitution no go na e kan asem. Na say own share political lens, they say media ya mache ya naked truth. And I made the mache Oldboga trends ya na say oh ya kan okure pass the me kan okure ya there's no way. What remember your true say president no one ate lawfully. The oye bia no Ghana mra permit ana Ghana mra ne na say amanfo ye na we o masa munyai na ye mra ana Ghana president John Dramani Mahama e eduma.
It sets out the parameters, and 1467 says that the committee shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the president whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. And therefore, positively, one can predict, one outcome, that is the removal of the Chief Justice. And once the committee recommends the removal of the Chief Justice, the president has no choice but to perform his constitutional obligation to remove the Chief Justice. There is no alternative. He cannot do otherwise. Now, I think, and I should like, to caution that the swiftness which the president has acted upon the recommendation of the committee should not be misconstrued into, suggesting that it was a foregone conclusion. We all know that the president made a campaign promise, by to reset the agenda, but it doesn't actually mean, therefore, that the president had a mindset to remove, the sitting Chief Justice or incumbent Chief Justice, and for that matter, as my friend just pointed out, anyone coming into the seat should also, be ready to receive the sack.
According to Felix Ofosukwache, our spokesperson demand the president. Or say na MPP for momo work amemu no. And yet the same article 146 here na mudi Charlotte say na two directors. I'm say Felix. we are koye Ghana for because na chese enye se get to kra nya bone a ye gina so yi because omo ye bintia wan ka we na ye den but we no gas we chire chire nsem omo na omo esu se John Dramani Mahama ene we chanting ana we chanting maame get to teraba se friends say sabato no ana we yi na afru was Chief Justice no na was setting bad precedent the why ye ebema president bia ba obey what say oh also be the same format so yi the Chief Justice afro because enya ade a pay constitution ya obi da ono so dey be to or not there it have no bearing say any problem bia only say president wo fra obey bia no obe act based on the law so oye the law na kan ko ade enya say asem bia no now the president John Dramani Mahama dey no the Ghana mra ema ho kwan wakankan watwere krata de abachire mu say article 1469 article 1461 okan ho na de kan no de ntia o mo state say o mo yi no enya no kra fa case ne sa bra na mo nko court kai say maami ankasa wa court baako wa komienu wa komiensa ni na no odi ngugu enti we no enya news bia John Dramani Mahama I the right
now unfortunately those who say that are losing sight of something. You see the fundamental principle adia ebo kizimanike bia memu ene amemu a enam makwa so no ene se ye nyina ye pe e o mane no ebi obi bia wo so wa e ba etre e bia ne ni pati etia e bia wo ho ofe me ho nye fe e bia wo sika me ni sika ba se ba na mra me no ye pe nti aba ya de bebo cheche na no ane de boba that is the position of the law so abofo okasabi I'm kind of sacred cow philosophy. Obi we ni pakesia manti se akobane se emrane hye yemfa won fa sa kwan bi so a yesi esa wuli pakesia we yenti yenye kaya kwa ni sa that is what will set a bad precedent. As that a highly regarded personality and as a significant personality in Ghanaian society, a very powerful head of an arm of government. Then what about Semna? It does not set a bad precedent. If it is the case to say, in Naswini, due process was not followed, the managers, Yanya, if I say, yeah, President Mama Saka petition, and of 50 perpetual crack, I said, we a Chief Justice free. Then that sets a terrible precedent. But it would not even be countenance in the face of the law.
Yes.
It's people see. Unless we are under a dictatorial regime. But when he has gone through due process every step of the way, up until now, there's not one single instance of be to me actually Tom and Penny Bumra Baku and Namuso. So the American say, said this says a bad precedent now. Have really not established what bad precedent it is. The fact of the weight of the office is immaterial in argument. In fact, see a doom of mine. Now the Chief Justice Ebu Mraso never Makwaso. Nasa Impediasa, Obia or Tonkudo or Council Makasa, never Makwaswa. Then we have arrived at a country that is underpinned by the rule of law. That cannot be a bad precedent. Petition was presented. The president referred that petition to the Council of State. And together with the Council of State, they determined prima facie. In accordance with Article 1466 of the Constitution, the petition was then referred to this committee. The composition of the committee is clearly provided for by the Constitution. Then the Chief Justice was asked to step aside for reasons that we explained at the time, so that the matter be looked into. Today, the committee has presented this report and recommended the removal of the Chief Justice for stated misbehavior.
Right.
The former Deputy Attorney General is fully aware that the President has no choice in the matter. The President cannot decide to agree or disagree with the findings of the committee and therefore the recommendations. The President is bound to act in the same way that President Akufo-Addo once told the people of Ghana that he was bound to act once a petition comes before him because the Constitution stipulates so. So the basis for this claim of political motivation is completely unfounded. That the NDC in the past criticized the conduct of the Chief Justice and the Supreme Court or the entire judiciary of Ghana. It's no reason why, if a basis is determined by the committee for her removal, action should not be taken. It is not sufficient basis. to allege political motivation in this matter.
And finally, the suspended Chief Justice, the long-awaited battle, the news that a whole lot of Ghanaians comfortably sit on their sofas waiting for have arrived. The Chief Justice that a lot of discerning Ghanaians, world-meaning Ghanaians, say, Penijumadi Odi, now on some fataso beto as a Chief Justice, no. According to the President of the land, using the Ghana Constitution, 1992 Constitution, activity Article 146, Eddie Atuma Aminiso say, the Oye no a misbehavior. Na sa misbehavior ya than euphoria. A petition at the buy no. Yajina so yayino. Ya bonu kunsa. Among for shall say ranu commentary. There, a do say any na no be daria. Ya beka bi. Enti MPP side say, John Dramani Mahama we chanting no be say any away. But what ferry the NDC side, including some private lawyers to St. Martin Pebu and a former director of the Ghana School of Law, I say it merits say near you know because the human being so any NDC presidency communicator Papa your friend Felix Ofosuku access so letter and son as here where we was about not radio so search them say abutre the John Dramani Mahama here wa say emfa Ghana mara so no we need to say Ghana court e wo hobetimi dia court but so far as omomo concern ne de maamini ya ikutia Ghana mra no eno no modina so abon get away so onko pen baby na wona then ye on hey asempa o ka se maami case ye di ko ECOWAS no so per $10 million adedi because NDC ne John Dramani Mahama tietie ne fa hodie so o ma money fair hearing aside that kura no omu intimidate no omu nsa mane mfa no omu mfa no nko baby a the security safe now panel members na ye form ye no kura ebi wo mu a chese onyi omu ni ase omu nya no medi ne bone nti okekani na abomu a na omu nya fit na so metena ne case so ansem no twi ka ye kwaba ni na no ye da ye koso ya ni pitiri maame no ya fire no ya wonu kunsa wey naked truth our Oldboga trends. Identification button no because a free record a big garden. I had the amount for the council press conference for MPP side, and yet I had the legend of your markets Becassa, amount for Babacasa. You may Dr. Mahmoud Bomiamo, any Canadian compare quite upon Becassa. You better drop in with naked truth so our Oldboga trends making sure identification button what and under that. We are subscribing, like it. Let's say we are as we end the comment no for to comment section. I say, a year would day, and I say, a year we are. The rightful thing, and a John Dramani Mahama, and the constitution, I know. A bad president, and a was said he. Yen was sir, and that's yen trasso. Now a month was say who's next. A month was so munya, and easy chance so twasso. Kai, so I said, you can tell the carbon dinner than tea. Hey! Ara ebeye nti ubeka dey he what e dey no Maxi Billian on naked truth or Oldboga trends. Bye bye.